Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep, brought to you by MarketFi. I'm your co-host, Joel Alconin, along with Brianna Valesky, and we have Greg Capra on the line. He is CEO of Pristine Trading. Greg, how you doing today?
Very good, Joe. Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Notice here that you, in the Moneyshow Live Trading Challenge, you won it 6 times in a row. Well, what was that? What years did you win that?
Oh, we haven't gone to one of those shows now in probably a couple of years. They kind of, as far as being a good place for us to go to, meet new people. It just kind of fizzled out. I guess it got overdone, but that was at least over 2 years ago. We used to go every year, and I was regularly doing those trading challenges at that time.
Okay, so over the course of your trading career, I see that you've been working with traders since 1994. I mean, have you had to come up with different trading styles for different markets? Is there just have you come up with one particular trading method that you make adjustments to, or how do you handle these changing markets?
It's an interesting question, Joe. I mean, it's what everybody, I'm sure wants to know. But, my early days, I started out doing this in the late 80s. I think like a lot of people, especially that don't know anything about the markets, like I did, I knew nothing, absolutely. And you think that there's some secret to the markets, we all search out that holy grail. And I just came back to the very basics. And whatever the market environment is, what's its trend, where's support and resistance, and it's a supply-demand relationship, and putting together multiple time frames, and saying, I have a bias from this higher time frame. Where is it likely to turn, being support or resistance, and then do I get a confirming pattern at that time? And that's where you make your trade. So what changes is the market environment, and you change with it, but your basic fundamentals of how you approach it doesn't.
And I know you like to study human emotion, and you think it comes through best through the candlestick formation patterns. Could you just explain that to our listeners?
Sure. Well, charts are a reflection of what you and I are doing. So one of the things that I focus a lot on is little shakeouts or failures. Over the course of studying my own trades, like why did I get stopped out of that, or what caused this little hit and reversal? And so you just see these recurring patterns, and just putting that together with your bias, and then waiting for some little shakeout adds to the potential or possibility that your trade is going to work out at that particular moment in time. And I think that might be a little the difference between my style and what we teach versus maybe some others, in that there are styles that say this is where we think the turning point is. Let's just bid for it and see what happens over the next few minutes or few days or whatever. Whereas what I do is look for very specific areas, and then look for that picture that says this is the moment in time that something should happen right now.
And what do you think? I mean, you deal with a lot of new traders, people getting in for the first time. What do you think the biggest mistake is that novice traders make is?
Focusing on the money at the beginning. And you have to learn a skill. It's like learning anything else that you might want to do. It's like, the money will cloud your judgment, and it's exponential when it comes to trading. So the focus really has to be learning the method and practicing, becoming familiar with it, getting experience, and saying, I'm going to do this over a course of time, and my goal is to execute my plan, as I believe I should. I'll refine it based on changes things I might learn. But focusing on the money part of it, it'll just slow down the progress. And one of the things that we talk about in one of the classes is, you're reviewing your trades at the end of the day. And I think everybody has kind of experienced this at some point, where you look at the trade, you look at the chart, and you say, why did I do that? It makes no sense. We call it, mirage trading or impulse trading. And you're sitting there and you just want to do something, and for whatever reason at that time, in your mind you thought it was something, and in the clarity of a closed market, you look at it and say, you know what, that just wasn't what I wanted to do or should have been doing.
Okay, all right, so you deal with new traders here, and obviously getting them over the hump is very important. But what about, traders that come in, they have that initial surge of success, then they hit a period of stagnation, and maybe not giving back all their gains, but just not making money. What kind of advice do you give to that group of traders?
Well, learn why. Sometimes the markets become difficult and they're choppy and erratic. That could be a reason. It could be, like you're saying, someone who has an early success starts to take larger risk, and they don't have any money management as part of their plan, and they say, "Oh, I'm doing so well. Let me move it up from 500 shares to 2,000 shares and give back a large part of their profit." So, it's a learning process, and those that start out, they go through that learning process, and by getting educated or listening to shows like yours, you hear things that say, hey, you know what, this is the proper way things should be done. But that doesn't necessarily mean someone starting out is going to do it, because they just want to test their own ideas, which is fine. The problem is that a lot of them want to test out our ideas without any money management, and they blow their accounts up.
Greg, can you tell us a little bit about how you set up your trading day?
Well, get up in the morning, get a cup of coffee, turn on CNBC, see what's going on in the world, see what might be moving, go and look at what's gapping up, what's gapping down, where's the activity, where might there be attention? And they're always focused on the higher volume, higher volatility stocks, and with Facebook, Amazon, Twitter's, those are typically moving, where, as far as, intraday trading goes, that's what we're looking for. What's moving? So, what's gapping up, what's gapping down, and just the typical, stocks that get the attention and move. That's what I'm looking.
Okay, so we're in the heart of earnings season right now, and I'd love to get, just a couple of names of what you're looking at right now, and what kind of setups you're thinking of doing.
But it's day to day, whichever coming out with earnings. But I look more at, okay, like I said, what is moving. Then from there, I was like, are the earnings coming out? So I don't want to get caught in an announcement. But as far as the earnings go, we know like what's going to be moving, the prior day based on that, and from there it's just okay, how are they moving, and that's what we're all after as far as intraday trading is what's moving.
Okay, taking a look at some stocks today, we do have some big movers out there. Chipotle Mexican Grill Street not happy with the earnings. I don't think they were too bad here. $700 stocks, is that something that's on your radar? Do you just trade them with smaller size, or do you like to trade, lower price stocks with a little bit more liquidity?
Well, this one is higher than something that I would focus on. And, it can get a little spready. So, I like the folks, like I said, on, Facebooks, Twitters, those type of stocks. And the airlines, they were moving. They're down at some support here today. I'm looking to see if they're going to bounce. They took a little bit of hit here. They've been strong, but with the strength in oil, they took a little bit of hit. We'll see if they can bounce back up from where they're at.
Okay, we got Twitter in the news here. Some good news from the analyst last week, and it's kind of the timing of it ahead of earnings on Thursday. Stock's been range bound here. Is Twitter something you trade almost every day?
Not every day, but now where it's moving up here today, it's looks like it's going to try and get out of this little range that it's been in. So it's got some resistance right here. I'll see if it holds on to this little gap here in the morning, but it definitely might be.
Do you like to put trades in like right off the open, or do you like to wait for that first 5-minute bar or 15-minute bar, and also do you do any pre-market trading?
I don't do pre-market, and there's only one setup that I really look at first thing in the morning, right at the open, which would be a little fake-out pattern, meaning as it opens up in trades, it could be like two minutes. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, and it tries to go in one direction, and immediately it reverses right back up. So a big part of what I look at is have traders gotten caught in that moment, and then going with that shakeout or reversal.
How about the crude market here? Do you do anything with the crude futures or with the related ETF USO?
I've never traded crude futures. As far as the futures markets go, my focus has been the equities, the Nasdaq futures, and the Dow futures. Never traded crude, but definitely keep an eye on its direction. As to how that might influence the market. There's been a big focus on that. Crude's going down. That's bad for the economy. There's no demand for that, and so on. And interest rates have been going down. There's another bad sign, but yet the market holds up. So it's been interesting that and again, copper going down. All of these things that would suggest market weakness, but the market holds up here. It's been in the range, and I think intermediate term that's bullish, and we'll see if you can get out of this range.
Do you have like a stable of stocks that you like to trade every day, some favorite stocks that you keep up on your radar, or do you kind of like comb the news to see what's moving to get your trades for the day?
Again, from the gap list, you'll see what stocks are moving there. But I'm going to remind you that I have in my screen, I have Citibank, eBay, Facebook, JP Morgan, Yahoo, Twitter, ABBA, and SanDisk. I haven't really focused on much, but I think it's interesting here on that gap down that it reversed and now it's retesting it. So that might be something that can get going here since it's retesting that big gap down from I guess about a week and a half ago.
Okay. All right. We've been on the line with Greg Capra. He's the CEO of Pristine Trading, discussing his outlook on the market and his trading strategies as well. Greg, thanks for joining us, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, Joe. As far as your earnings at this gap list, we're going to have an open house tomorrow. If anybody wants to come in and see how we do it live, during the day, they can stop in and watch how the trades are done.
Okay. All right. Listeners, take note of that. All right. We will talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot, Greg.
All right, Joe. Bye.